got a lot of shine. Running up the number, that's a lot of crime. Try to take it from me, must be out your mind. Big time, lot of slime. Smoky in the air, that's a lot of crime. Pockets running over with the dollar sign. Try to take it from me. Yeah. Big time, big time, big time. Big time. Running up the numbers, that's a lot of grind. Try to take it from me, must be out your mind. Lot of shine. Smoky in the air, that's a lot of crime. It's running over with the dollar sign. Try to take it from me. Big time. I got a lot of shine. Running up the numbers, that's a lot of grind. Try to take it from me, must be out your mind. I'm big time, lot of shine. Smoky in the air, that's a lot of crime. Pockets running over with the dollar sign. Try to take it from me, from me, from me, from me. Big time, number 9. Got it in my teeth, I got a lot of shine. Running up the numbers, that's a lot of grind. Try and take it from me, must be out your mind.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into a Monday edition of the YSN Power Hour. DJ Yoakley with you. We, of course, have CJ Schroeds, who has become a permanent staple on this show, thank God. And we join, we welcome in for the first time ever on the YSN Power, one of our great partners and one of my great friends, Mr. Joshua Fitch from Channel 21 WFMJ. What's up, Josh?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me. It's exciting to finally be here with y'all.
Well, we're hoping that you become a staple like CJ, and he probably won't admit to this, but he has become one of the fan favorites of this show, especially when it comes to our Sparks, which we'll get to at the end of the show, where you get to basically put somebody on blast if you want, or you can put somebody on a pedestal. It's really up to you. But this has been a long time coming. You and I have talked about this for a long time, throughout. And I've been a fan of yours, and you were literally, we'll tell the story, you were this close to becoming officially a member of the YSN family. And right as you were doing that, you joined Channel 21 WFMJ, and we became partners, and everything is hunky-dory, man. It's all good. So
for sure. It's crazy how that almost worked out, then kind of did work out in a way. And now we see each other at all these games all the time.
It's the best.
Pretty cool.
It really is. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you guys and all you do. And it's a great partnership. And, it really is. You guys have so much going on over there that we just kind of supplement it. And we I don't even know what the word is, where you guys do X and we do Y, and together we are Z. You know what I mean? Right. It's one of those things where it works out so well. And you literally, my friend, are everywhere. Like I see your face everywhere on highlights, in gyms, on our feed. So I don't know how you do it. People say we're everywhere, and I just say, listen, if you think we are everywhere, look for Josh Fitch.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's always fun getting around and being able to go in a lot of the different gyms, and that's the beauty of trying to spread the wealth as much as we can. Is you get to go and see a lot of different people, a lot of different teams, and we try and feature the outskirt teams, so to speak, and the quote unquote powerhouses, whatever you want to say, teams as well. And but I can say a lot of gyms we go into, there is a table set up with that YSN logo in the corner that I try not to walk in front of the camera every time and somehow end up doing. So that's probably why you see me so much. I'm getting right in the shot.
That's all right, man. As long as you get your shot, that's all that matters. Nobody pays attention to us anyway. We're just the people that are always there. That's it. The fan turned on, so I'll turn the fan off during our power rankings segment. But gentlemen, today as we start each day here in 2022, it is on this day in sports history. I kind of gave you a heads up on it. So today, February 7th, 1949, Joe DiMaggio becomes the first ever $100,000 a year player, and it happened with the New York Yankees, of course. So my question to you is, $100,000 in today's day and age from a professional athlete standpoint isn't all that much. And I'm trying not to smile saying that, because we talked about what we wouldn't do for $100,000. So when it boils down to it, what would you do? Let's do that. What would you do for $100,000? Like something crazy. What would you do?
CJ, you go first, because mine could be like a laundry list of things. Like,
yeah, that's a tough one right there. Because really the question is, what wouldn't I do? I mean, is the bigger one.
All right, what wouldn't you do? Okay, I had it right the first time. What wouldn't you do?
Yeah,
for
what wouldn't I do? One thing that freaks me out are spiders, and that's one thing I wouldn't do. I'm not. If there's a cage or like I'm not touching tarantula.
Is that arachnophobia? Is that what that is?
100%. Yep.
Okay.
Hate them.
So you wouldn't be a spider keeper?
Nope.
see,
Not
like,
touching it.
I don't know. For me, it's different. Like, if it's a quick $100,000 of like a scary situation, or if it's a one day crazy thing for $100,000, then I can spend that 100K throughout the year. It's almost like sign me up and I'll muscle through it somehow.
Is there a sport that you wouldn't perform once or a year's worth for $100,000?
Oh, I don't know. That I would not perform?
Yeah,
Or
like
that I
even
would
think
not
about the
perform?
Olympics, right? So my wife is scared to death of the skeleton. Do you guys know what that is?
Mm-mm.
So it's basically like the bobsled, but you're going down face first,
Oof.
and all you have is basically your leotard and your your helmet. So one wrong move and it's lights out. So I probably wouldn't do that for $100,000.
Yeah, because then if you get hurt, what's the medical bill looking like? I mean, you might not even go positive there. Like,
Yeah, you're probably sitting well negative if you do the skeleton and you end up on.
yeah, that's a good point. Maybe skip that one. I don't know. I feel like the Winter Olympics are more challenging in that like umbrella situation, because there's a lot of ice and like height involved in the Winter Olympics, like across a lot of the sports.
Josh, what sports did
Something
you play?
I can't go. But basically, all I was going to say is I agree with Josh. I can't ice skate and I can't ski. So none of those. They're fun to watch, but none of those are. I could.
All right, so I saw, and I don't know, is it the long jump or something like that? I saw it the other night. It was on Saturday night, and they go down on skis on tracks, and once they get to the bottom of the hill, go up in the air, and they gotta like do the whole thing. Like they look down, their skis are right at their. You could not pay. I mean, like 10 times over. It would have to be in the millions for me to do.
Yeah, I mean that's a good point, and that's something you don't think about, like that's actually physically happening in air, live time, and like how fast they have to, like how fast are they going? Like you're talking in the 20 at least miles an hour, right? I mean, or more. I don't know, but like that's that's crazy when you actually think about it, and then you have to land, like on your legs, and like
Just
the kind of
imagine landing on your
tension.
ass on that. Like you completely miss and you just land straight on your old dupa. Dude,
Well, even in the snowboarding when it's not even as intense, and that's a relative term when we're talking about this. You see them take those little falls, but you're still talking like on those big steep ramps covered in snow. Like, no thanks. I don't want
there's
to
no
fall on
chance.
that.
Imagine, and this is my mind, right? So I'm always thinking on those half pipes that you
Mhm.
get hung up right on the corner. Like you go sky high and you just go a little bit the wrong way and you get hung up right on the edge. Dude, that's got to hurt so bad.
Yeah, I don't
So
know. I really don't know how they do it. I mean, even hockey, like you talk about, like I just tried my hand at ice skating like 3 weeks ago for fun and fell twice. And it wasn't fun. Like it was fun, but it also wasn't like it's still ice you're falling on, you know?
I can't even begin to imagine. We're starting to get people chiming in on this. Nikki C says I'd play football with no pads on.
Yeah, I'd probably do that one. For if we're still talking 100K, but then you get into the topic of what level are you playing for 100K?
Dude,
Because
I'm not even playing Mighty Mites without pads on for 100K because like pads now they hurt.
Mhm.
They hurt, and it just. Can you imagine like? Well, we could play Pro Bowl, I guess, with no pads on.
Yeah.
Bunch of sissies. I wasted my entire afternoon yesterday excited for the Pro Bowl, and then that showed up.
Well,
What the hell was
the
that?
one play that got me and like was I think it was Pat Mahomes threw an interception. He was looking for Renfro, and it was just like Renfro turned and he didn't like even try to go. I'm like, you know, I'm like, I don't know.
That gives football a bad name.
Yeah.
That game, like if you're gonna do that, don't do it. Just
Mhm.
just just chalk it up. Be like, you know what? Here's our all-star list. These guys
Well,
are all-stars. That's it.
I remember a few years ago, and I don't know what year it was. It's been multiple years now, but the year they changed it and they had like Dion and Jerry Rice
Yep.
leading the team. I remember them playing all the players playing hard that year. Like that actually felt like a game, but like I can't recall a game since then that has been like a physical play NFL game, you know.
I guess I never watched. You know what I mean? Like I years prior, I just don't watch.
Hmm.
But I've never heard so many complaints as I have this year.
Yeah, it is. It is hard. It is kind of hard to watch, and because like yes, you want to see your favorite player do well. Like for
Sure.
me, I'm a Browns fan, so the Myles Garrett touchdown was cool, but
That was
it's not,
initiated by TJ Watt.
of course. And but it's like, what does that bring you? Like, I don't know. Like TJ, like that play, it's more so for TJ. Like it's more of a beneficiary as a Steeler fan. I feel like because TJ Watt literally did that all year long.
Yeah.
Like tied the sack record, single season sack record. So like for him to go in there and actually make the play, I mean, it's just like, what is it worth at the end of the day, I guess.
I think that to me, it's more of a fan experience, right? Like it would be
Yeah.
cool to go to because everybody's lax. You're probably getting some autographs, some picture opportunities. But as for the football frame of mind, I don't understand it. I don't because I don't. I'd much rather see those guys play flag football
Mhm.
than what they did yesterday because I think that'd be cool. Or 7-on-7 drills or something.
Yeah.
Something innovative that keeps the fan involved. Because you know what the crazy part about all of that was yesterday is you could still bet on the game. Like,
I
and
don't know who's doing that.
if there was ever a rigged game, that was the rigged game. Like we saw touchdowns and guys were just stopping short on defense. They're just like, there he goes.
Right. And I feel like it's also different since we're on the topic of like the NBA All-Star game where it is more laxed, but the highlights are so individualized in the NBA that it is almost more exciting. Like that doesn't translate to the NFL.
Well, they change it up in the NBA to like it's scoring by quarters. Like you have to score. It's if you win the first quarter, then you win the second. I forget. It was something weird a couple years ago that I was like, what is this?
Yeah, I honestly can't even answer that. I know they're doing the team draft picks still.
Are you going? Did you win that part? Do you get to go to the game?
I'm not sure yet, to be honest with you.
Uh-oh.
So we're gonna see how that all plays out.
Is that on a weekend?
The game is on a Sunday.
Okay, which you're
So-
typically anchoring.
Correct. So I don't know. I'm not sure the game plan coverage wise yet.
Is that a Dana call or a you call?
That's probably a Dana call, and it's probably a credential call too.
Gotcha.
With how you never know how it's going to play out with COVID still and stuff, because they've been doing a lot of that stuff virtually, or they did. I mean, everyone has been at these major events. So I think it's just going to be a kind of game time decision and see how it all kind of comes together. But the fact that it's an hour away is pretty cool.
Anthony chiming in with the skills competition were much more fun than the game. 7-on-7 maybe instead.
Yeah.
And I think he's talking about the Pro Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I think the competitions in the NBA are a lot more fun than the game too. I like the Celebrity All-Star game. I'm a weirdo like that. Like I actually want to see if these celebrities can play. And Kevin Hart, how tiny he looks on a big court. Because I feel like that's what I would look like compared to everybody else. So it's like when Rey Mysterio wrestles in a wrestling ring. I'm like, okay, there's my calibration right there. That's how small I would be compared to this guy. So, interestingly enough, so $100,000. Now we know what we wouldn't do. We wouldn't do the skeleton. Where are we on playing football without pads? Is that a go or no? I'm going to say no go. I
probably would.
I'd be.
I don't know. I mean,
would.
I was never the kid to play backyard football because I kind of sucked, but I was always scared of getting hurt. Like I was the timid one who I'm just gonna stay out of the play.
Are you the kid with the shoulder injury, like two plays in? You're like,
yeah,
oh.
yeah. Like I kid you not. We across from my house growing up had a huge field across the street that our neighbor would let us play in all the time. And like when we played baseball, I was like designated outfield, like all time.
Were you Smalls? Were you Smalls?
And I'm like, I don't want to bat. I'm like, I don't want to be on the infield because if a ball's hit at me, that's gonna hurt. I'm like, I ain't gonna catch it. Like I'll stay in the outfield. You guys go.
Did you have a long brim cap with a fish on it?
I should have, because I would have fit the part.
You're killing me, Smalls.
So, like the football aspect, I don't know, but when you're talking $100,000, I mean,
okay. Last question for the $100,000. You ready? And it's a simple yes or no answer. Would you take 101 mile an hour pitch to the right between the numbers on the back for $100,000?
Probably.
Yep.
101.
Oh God. I mean,
MLB players do before,
it.
So.
All right, let's up the stakes. Let's see where we can go to
God.
here. Would you get hit 101 in the back in Phoenix?
Probably.
Because you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
Would you get 101 in the back in Cleveland in October?
Yeah, that's a different feel. That's a different 101 miles an hour.
That's true.
Quick story for you guys, and it wasn't 101 miles an hour, but in high school.
I was going to say, no way.
I was the catcher, and I was the biggest trash talker that you could ever imagine. And I trash talked the ace pitcher, who is now my friend, so I don't feel bad saying this, Brett Siebert. And he was from Columbiana. It was a game, I believe it was in March, if I'm not mistaken. If it wasn't March, it was one of the first days of April. Talk smack the entire offseason. Talk smack when we met up. It was at Palestine. And all I remember is the first pitch was right between the 3 and the 1 in my back. And that baby was coming in. He topped out at 94 that year, is what I'm told. That had to be every bit of 90, right between the 3 and the 1. And I remember just like you turn in, you just, oh no, like you know it's gonna happen. You try to get that stretch and kind of catch it between your shoulder blades.
I think that would be the worst part of it if we were to ever do that, is it's coming. Like
You'd
I
be
think
so
it's one thing Yeah, I think it's one thing for a batter to in the moment and take it off the shoulder or something, but to just stand there and know, because then you're all tensed up and it's
There's 364 days till next hockey tryouts. You gotta toughen up. Oh, here we go. All right, put up Kirby's comment. The disrespect towards a national champ. What a shame, DJ. All right, hang on. See, we're dealing with burner accounts here, Mr. Fitch. Kirby Smart says, kind of off topic, but did you guys see Jordan Spieth's shot? So scary. Dude was almost off that cliff. One wrong move and he's toast. I didn't see it, so I can't talk to it. Josh, you saw it?
I saw it briefly just on our feed, on our news channel feed, and he literally, and I didn't watch it live or anything, didn't see it play through, so let that be a disclaimer, but he, like, you could see the entire ridge, like, straight down, and he's, like, right up on there, you know, trying to hit the shot.
Would you do that for 100,000?
No, because golf for me just doesn't. Golf just for me doesn't do it. So like I'm not risking it all. The stakes would have to be much higher.
What about you, Siege?
That's a tough one because I'm not a fan of heights either. So it's
right.
that would take a little bit of convincing for me. So I don't know.
For one shot, I guess it's not even the whole, like just the shot for 100 grand. I think I'd do it. But if I had to do a whole round like that, probably not.
Yeah.
If every shot had some kind of like painstakingly terrible connotation attached to it, I'm out. Like, but if I got to do it one time, I'll do it. I'll just chip the damn thing. Like, just I'm gone. I'm diving into the sand. All right. So we have some things to talk about. If you didn't watch Running Point today, we released the Power Rankings brought to you by Armidas Kachina. And of course, we do this every Monday at this time. So before we get to, this is what we call a reader in a business. Before we get to the official Power Rankings, we need you to go on a mission and book Armidas Kachina for your graduation party today. I know graduation, everybody's thinking graduation so far. We're in February, folks. We're in February. That means you've got 3 months till graduations. 3. So if you're not booking Armidas Kachina now, you're probably already behind the 8 ball. So you need to book Armidas Kachina for your graduation party today. It's perfect for your home graduation parties. You know why? Yeah, it's because it's perfect for the outdoor setting. It's amazing, unique foods, including famous stuffed hot peppers, delicious chicken sandwiches, and much, much more. They can even bring music to turn your party into a party. So book Armidas Kachina today at armidaskachina.com on Facebook, or you can just call 330-787-1932. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, this week's Power Rankings brought to you by Armidas Kachina. This week's Power Rankings brought to you by Armidas Kachina, perfect for your graduation party. If you're looking to make a splash this graduation season, make sure you book Armidas Kachina at armidaskachina.com. Back with Week 10 of the Power Rankings brought to you by Armidas Kachina. It's Salem at the top again with a 15-3 record coming off a big win on Saturday. West Branch takes the number 2 spot as they slide up from 4 to 2. Howland with a tough loss. They slide down to 3 at 15-6. Louisville stays at number 4, and then it stays sturdy. It's Poland, Liberty, Waterloo, Canfield, Springfield, and Garfield, all staying at the exact same spots they were last week. The other side is a different story. The top 4 stay the same. The other ones shifting all at the bottom. Camel stays your top seed at 17-1. East Liverpool at 16-3 at number 2. Springfield perfect still at 18-0. Louisville at 13-5, and then Liberty at 13-4. West Branch comes in at 14-3 in the 6th spot. Then it's Heartland Christian moving up from 8 to 7 with a 14-4 record. Lowellville comes in at number 8, 13-3. Cheney slides up at 12-7 to the 9th spot, and Boardman back on the board at 10-6. These again, Armidas Kachina Power Rankings brought to you by our good friends over at Armidas Kachina. Get your graduation party scheduled right now. All right, so let's take a look at the girls once again. Salem back on top after a week. It seems like they're every other week right now because whoever takes over the top spot gets that Salem curse, and they're back down. Howland had it. They took an L, and now they slide down to 3. But Salem back at number 1 at 15-3, and did they flex their muscles ever on Saturday against Carrollton. The guards were just out of this world, on fire. West Branch, so 2 EBC teams at the top, and Salem and West Branch. West Branch is outstanding as well at 17-4. Their season pretty much a wrap right now. They got 1 game, I think, left before the tournament starts on Saturday. So keep your eyes on that. Then you got Howland sliding down to 3, Louisville at 4. The 4 there stayed. They just kind of interchanged. They stayed within the top 4. But the big changes, the no changes came from 5 to 10, which was amazing. Because when you think about it, these teams are pretty much etched in because it's time for the tournaments. So to me, the most impressive team on this, not named Salem, West Branch, Howland, or Louisville, is Waterloo. I think they've strung together 15 wins in a row or something crazy like that. They are just on fire tonight. They go for a clinch of the MVAC title against Springfield, who's sitting there at number 9 for us. Canfield had a huge win over Howland that knocked Howland off the top spot here. So I really think that our 1 through 10 is pretty strong when it comes to this. There's probably 2 or 3 more teams that could have been in that 9 or 10 spot, but with everybody winning so much last week and the week prior, it's hard to get them out of there. It really is. When you're doing these power rankings, it's hard when teams don't lose. And when the top 4 teams just keep beating each other up, this is what you're going to get. Let's go over to the boys' side, where a lot more people are really kind of frustrated, where the top 4 stayed exactly the same because all they did was win no matter what. And then you've got Liberty, who moved up from the 6th spot to the 5 spot. Struthers fell off the board. They came on strong last week and took an L in the last week, and now they're gone. I mean, the voters did not take kindly to that loss over last week, and it showed as everybody kind of moves up, and then Boardman moves in. So you got Boardman at 10-6, getting back on the board. I think this is their 3rd time during the season that they've been on the power rankings, and they might not go away because they have been turning it up lately. And with Trey DePietro back, could be a force to be reckoned with down the stretch. We are going to talk about the power rankings tomorrow, or I'm not the power rankings, the brackets tomorrow. So make sure that you tune in for that. We'll have maybe we're hoping to get some coaches and some players on to talk about, how they feel going into bracket play and into tournament play, because ladies and gentlemen, it is the most wonderful time of the year here for YSN because we love tournament basketball. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. And we are here. Girls start on Saturday. We got 4 games for you on Saturday. Now, we've already been asked this question, and I've got to make sure that everybody knows it will be pay-per-view for playoffs because the OHSA does charge us a fee of $125 to $150 a game. So we are going to be charging that $9.99 fee, and it's not per game, it's per day. So if you're looking to watch 4 games on Saturday, the $9.99 gets you all you can watch on YSN. So that's why we do it. We don't want to, but it's something we're a business. We have to be able to come out in the black at the end of the year. So we don't think it's that much to ask for $9.99 for 4 games. Now, if there's only 1 game at the end of the day, we might not charge. It's just one of those things. We play it by ear. We don't want somebody paying $9.99 for 1 game and not getting what they asked for. So that's the business side of things, the disclaimers and all of that. But when we come back, guys, I'm interested because I've always been an advocate for conference tournaments. I love them. I absolutely love them. Do you think high school should be adopting conference tournaments at the end of their seasons and it doesn't count against your register? So in basketball, you get 22 games. It doesn't count if you put an extra 2 games into your schedule. It doesn't count against you. It's almost scrimmages, exhibitions, whatever they call it. I think it'd be great for basketball, especially maybe even baseball. Football, I don't think so. But we'll get you guys' opinions when we come back on the YSN Power Hour, powered proudly by these great sponsors.
Every customer has a story, and at Greenwood Chevrolet, we are committed to making sure it ends with you in the right vehicle. I get to be part of somebody's adventure, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their finances. They trust me to take care of them, and they trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Working with your family can be stressful at times, but because they're family, you know that you're going to get a loving, honest answer, even when things don't make sense to any problem. Dealing with Medicare can be confusing and overwhelming. That's why here at Myers Family Insurance, we do our best to give you honest and caring answers to all of your questions. Family, like Medicare, isn't always perfect, but when you put others first, the results can be amazing.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance.
Storm season.
I think we're under the gun for some heavy storms over the next couple of hours.
And Storm Tracker 21 is ready.
This is probably the one we're keeping a closer eye on.
On air.
And locally, we're going to have a lot of eyes on our area.
Online.
All right, let's talk high-risk futurecast and the timing of this weather.
On social media and on our app.
Notice we'll have scattered showers on Thursday.
Stay ready with Storm Tracker 21.
The severe weather threat now through around sunset this evening.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local, independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsurancesolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
Hey, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the YSN Power Hour. Josh Fitch, CJ Schroeds join me here today on this Monday, the 7th day in February. Got some comments from the power rankings before we get to our next topic. Jeff Howard says, was listening to Running Point, and I agree with what Anthony said. Canfield beats the number 1 team in Howland, doesn't even move up. So he zipped it. Nikki C says that disrespect to Canfield. Wow. And then Anthony says, Canfield has a chance to get wins over 3, 4, and 5 after the week is over. So my question then becomes, where should they go? Because we have these voters and they put people in the and we have our algorithms. And Anthony, I looked at his stuff during the break. Anthony has Howland at 4, Canfield at 5, Poland at 6. So you got to leapfrog Poland to get there. And Poland didn't do anything wrong either. So it's tough when nobody loses in that bottom half. And that's why Howland was stuck. They dropped down from 1 to 3. And then you got Canfield. It's hard for them to jump over people. That's the trouble. I mean, they do it in the top 25 all the time. When you think about, okay, well, this team beat Ohio State, but they lost to this team. And they lost, again, it's not perfect by any means, but it's also fair. It's absolutely fair. And Canfield, and I'm not knocking them at all, they were our number 1 to start this thing, and they hung on to it for a few weeks. So once you get out of that top 5, it is hard to get back in with those top 4 being who they are. So Nikki C, I respect it. I absolutely do. Jeff, I respect it as well. You guys are always welcome to vote if you want to submit. Might be a little late now, being that we're 10 weeks in, but hey, we'll give it a shot. Before the break, I asked you guys, what do you think about the possibility of conference championships? So like they do in college, conference championships. We got Sam chiming in saying conference tourneys would be tough. Josh, what do you think about conference tournaments in high school?
Well, so they're coming after regular season ends then, correct?
Correct.
And before OHSA tournament starts.
It can be all inclusive. It can be this is your dream boat, right? So it can be whatever you want. For me, ideally, if you have an 8-team league, 4 teams get in, you have 2 extra games.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it would almost have to be that, because then you're getting into a time crunch realistically. Mm-hmm. And the OHSA kind of spreads it out. What is it? 2 games per week or or to start at least anyway. I think you get a Tuesday, then a Saturday or something like that. There's a couple days in between, but kids, I feel like, want the OHSAA tournament. Like they want to advance in the OHSAA tournament, and then, Sam brings up a good point here. You're already on an official stretch here with officials getting games in, and with these cancellations and stuff not helping. I feel like it's almost like a time crunch unless you consolidate this into, you get one of the, like you get at a tournament, kind of like how they do in a wrestling tournament where you have multiple games in one day to decide it. And then you can kind of go through. Okay. So Nick just said that. Yeah. Make it, I feel like it would have to be a 1 day situation.
I love it. Make it madness, championship madness. CJ, what are your thoughts on this?
So would this be, in your mind, would this be to determine what are we determining with
just a conference champion?
This? Just okay.
Yeah.
So for us, you win your section by just playing your section teams, and I think that's so. For baseball, I think it's more difficult to do that, right? Because you basically you finish the season. What would it be? First week of May. You're starting playoffs the next week, right? And you're starting WIPIO playoffs, and hopefully you go further, right? So I don't want to burn pitching for extra exhibition games just
but it's for a conference title, right? So it's to me, it's different because what you do at the beginning of the season is you get like what, 4 for basketball, you get 4 or 5 scrimmages, right? That you can utilize. I would rather have 2 at the end of the season for a conference championship than getting some JV some time, just getting everybody warmed up and acclimated. Kind of like, this is going to sound awful. This is very similar to me to what the NFL has been doing in taking away preseason games and adding regular season games to the schedule and postseason games. Sam making a point here. Are you having regular season champ and then a conference champ? To be determined, because I think
for me, DJ, what it comes down to is what you do in the regular season should matter, right? It should matter what you do in April
for the conference championship, right? So the number 1 and number 2 get the home games, and in any bracket, the number 1 and number 2 optimally will meet in the championship, right? That's how brackets are set up, but that's not always the way the cookie crumbles. So when you look at it, I think that the regular season matters. If you want to call yourself a regular season champion, whatever. Like, I don't care. The tournament is the one thing to me that should carry all the weight, because then you say, hey, we made it to the playoffs. We won the conference championship. We won the league title, whatever you want to call it. Then you win it. I love that, because here's what you're facing right now. And you look in the EOAC for the boys, I think it's Columbiana, United, Wellsville, and Valley, I think all have the same record, and potentially could be a 4-way tie for the championship.
That's what it could do. It could eliminate, like we just saw how, like in the power rankings, Howland and Canfield are splitting the AAC title.
Yep.
So
or ACC title, depending on which media outlet you're covered by. I don't know if you saw that. I thought it was hilarious. I know it was a mistake, but I thought it was hilarious given that reliable sources likes to poke fun at people. So,
so that's something that could be eliminated with that. But what weight then I guess you're weighing what the conference championship carries, because if you're having a conference championship after the regular season, but it doesn't affect your seeding or anything in the OHSAA tournament that's still to come, like, is that being affected by a conference championship then?
No, because it doesn't affect it now. Because if you think about it, the regular season's still going on right now, and some conference championships haven't been decided yet.
Exactly.
So what's funny is you could have a conference champion that's seated lower right now than whoever came in second, because the especially with last week and all the cancellations, it could come to fruition this year. That's why I think if nothing else, for the fans, for the kids, I think it would be phenomenal to have a conference championship, because you think about it, everybody plays. First thing you want to accomplish in any team is a league championship, conference championship. Then you want a district. Then you want to, it goes on from there, state title, right? So why not make it official? Why not have a tournament within the tournament, I guess? You know what I mean? Not officially. You can't have it during the OHSAA, but, if it's 2 games, it's 2 games. Football, right. That's why I said before, football, I don't think it would be good, because you're adding another 2 games onto that season, which already has 16. Yeah. Then you might get into some trouble.
That's just a whole different complexity with how the game's played and everything. I mean, that's just, injury standpoint, like that's just like a whole different. I think for basketball, it could work. I think it's feasible. And I think it benefits the top teams in the conference, especially if you're neck and neck throughout the way, but
these burner accounts, man. So this is supposed to be my long lost brother. DJ Folkley says, I personally love it, brother. You inspire me each and every day. You're the best brother a guy could ask for. And then he follows up with, do whatever your heart tells you. Let's do this together. My guy.
Look at all that inspiration you are giving, DJ.
Look at all that hair he has, man. That's good flow. That doesn't run in the family.
Basketball is the one sport, though, that I think probably could do it.
I think baseball could do it. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't. At least for us, we would have to, unless the Whippeals would be willing to completely restructure.
Just push it back a week. That's all you need. Push it back a week. That's what you would need.
Right, but the issue becomes,
that's what it would boil down to.
Yeah, it would have to be a restructuring of the Whippeal and how they run things. But the issue becomes, the closer you make it to Whippeal playoffs, not to just be Pennsylvania homer, but that's what I know. So,
right.
But the closer you make it to Whippeal playoffs, which means more. Listen, I don't want to burn pitching, and that's the biggest thing it comes down to for me. If you push it, forward a week, and you play, a full 7 days, you have your championship before playoffs even begins in Whippeals. Maybe I could see that, but then I like the way that it's structured in baseball, is that it's structured after MLB, right? MLB doesn't have a tournament at the end of their season to determine who wins the division.
No, but they have 162 games.
But I like the way that it's structured.
What do you get in baseball? 21, 27, something like that?
You get 20. Yeah, we get 20, and then 12 are section games. So, but I like that, right? You got to win those section games. They matter. You could lose if it's in a tournament style, right? You could lose 7 of those section games. Nobody likes. I'm just being honest, right? You could lose 7 of those section games, and then the way it's set up now, you don't make playoffs, but you lose those 7 games, and hey, I got a number 1 pitcher. We can go to Montour and beat Montour with my ace.
Okay, so baseball will set it up like major. At least the way I'm thinking, we set it up like Major League Baseball. You have a wild card round, right? So you get 4 teams in. You do 1 game. That's it. Boom, you're gone, and then you're on to the next one.
Yeah, it can't be a whole conference tournament.
I don't think it could be. There's some people that'll push for that.
It has to be a top 4, realistically.
I think so, or a division. So if you have 6, like the MVAC has 16 teams in the conference, right? But they have their different divisions.
Yeah.
So do you split it up by division, or do you go, we're going to go 8 teams and then chuck it down?
See, and where do you draw the line there?
I'm just a talk show host, man. I know.
It would be hard, because if you have in that conference, it's split in 4 different ways?
Which conference?
The MVAC.
2. They got the gray and the scarlet.
Okay. So are you taking how that, because that conference is so much bigger, right?
I think you have to take by the division, right? So you're the gray MVAC division champion, because that, I think it's by size, and Sam can tell me straight up, I think it's by size of school, and that's how they matched it up. Speaking of Sam, here's one. I'm sorry to cover you up, Siege. What about playing everyone once during the regular season in your conference, then having the tournament, which gets you 3 more games, then you can go get 1 more non-conference game to prepare yourself for tourney play? I'm not against it. There's no rules here. We're just talking through it. So for me, I love knowing that if you finish at the top 4, right, you're guaranteed a seat at the table, a chip in a chair, as my buddy Andy Hake would say. So you get in there and you can be a 4 seed and still win the conference championship. I like that, because some teams start slow and some teams end slow. So I think being able to do that would be sweet. Sigler says Sam's model of play, everyone once, frees up OOC games, out of conference games as well. Best case for making it happen.
Yeah, it gives you a little more freedom that way.
I like
I
it.
feel like
I guess the only thing that would bother me, if I'm reading this right, is if you're in the bottom 4 of those conferences, you've got to fill those slots. Like it's kind of a waiting game, right?
Yeah, true.
Because now you got to wait. Okay, are we in the top 4? And like that 5th team is sitting there like, do we go out and to book somebody in the middle of the season or the end of the season it has to be a nightmare. Has to be.
And that's where the argument of, do you split where it would be a top 4 or the entire conference, and then you break it down bracket by bracket that way, and you have 2 sides of it.
I think you have to,
because then if not, well, what are the bottom 4 teams who aren't in the conference title and still waiting for the OHSA tournament to start? What are they doing? Because you're not gonna know whether to schedule somebody or not, and so that's why I just think it's hard realistically, because you have to almost include everyone, and that's why the OHSAA is the way it is, right?
Well, what if this doesn't happen before the OHSA tournament, happened after?
But what if a team is on an OHSAA run and then you don't have?
Then you wait. You just wait.
I don't know. Like that.
It's just like, that would be awesome, but the logistics of it just probably wouldn't work, because then baseball coaches aren't going to want that, right? And then you're
running into baseball season.
Well, here's baseball. Baseball is interesting because I remember losing in the OHSA tournament and then playing games after it.
Yeah, but I feel like those are unique situations with teams. I don't want to say who know they aren't going to advance, because that's not necessarily the case. It's kind of with what teams are left after they've been knocked out or whatever, right? But that, again, like, everyone's making it at that point though. So some teams are going to be out in that first round. I feel like you have a better idea going into that kind of situation.
I think it'd be cool, because I'm trying to think how they do it in baseball. How do they do it in baseball in Pennsylvania, CJ? Do they set you up on like Tuesdays and Fridays? How do they set you up?
So they reorganized it as of last year, and so we play a series between the 2 teams. So we'll play Monday, Tuesday, and then we have Wednesday, Thursday practice, and we'll have a Friday non-conference. We play series. Mm-hmm.
Oh wow!
And it's much better, because the way it used to be, and maybe it's how it is in Ohio still. You would play each team once, right? Either home or away, and then you'd play the same teams again in either home or away, just opposite, right? But you would face everyone's ace, and that's the problem. Is they would save their ace against you, and so you'd be facing the same pitchers throughout the year. Right? So now it's a series. You play Monday, Tuesday. You got to have pitching depth, and I love it. I love it.
I don't know what the hell is going on with this thing. Talking about leaving for Turkey. I'm leaving for Turkey. I thought he said he was leaving Turkey, like turkey on the table. I'm leaving for Turkey and will no longer be with you anymore. I'm sad and we'll miss you, brother.
Oh,
we'll miss you too, DJ Folkley. good luck in Turkey. I don't know what you're going over there for. I don't know what is in Turkey. I couldn't tell you one thing that they're
Or
known
is he
for.
going to eat turkey? Like he's going out for some turkey.
He capitalized it, so I'm gonna go. That's a country, but I capitalize a lot of things too. So maybe if he can clear that up about why he's going either to eat turkey or going to Turkey, that would make things a lot easier on us. Okay, the way I'm trying to remember it, I think we had one game, maybe 2 games a week in the playoffs, and it may have changed for baseball. But I remember coaches trying to schedule games. Like they would purposefully not fill out their schedule and would schedule games so we could get practice against another team and not just, because listen, in Northeast Ohio in mid-May going towards June, baseball teams don't really practice. It's just hitting and fielding practice is all it is.
So I pulled up the OHSA bracket from last year.
Okay.
Warren JFK, won the state title. Played the 20th of May, then played the 25th, then played the 27th. So that is what? How many? 3 games in a week?
3 in a week, yeah. So you're not scheduling anybody else.
Correct.
CJ says no.
No. I'm trying to remember what we did in 19. So what I described, I thought you were talking about regular season. No, in playoffs, the way it's set up is we play Tuesday, Thursdays. It's Tuesday, Thursday is round 1 and 2.
Okay.
And then the next week, Tuesdays, semifinals, Thursdays, the championship, or Friday because it's in one place.
So you're not fitting in a tournament within a tournament under those.
And I feel like the lead up to the tournament, because you're having more games in a stretch potentially, I feel like players just anticipate that a little better too, knowing that's coming, because those are scheduled out.
If you have a week though, you have 1 week, right? That is separating your regular season from playoffs. If you have 1 week for like rain dates, right? You can get 2 games in. And I would almost rather have it on Friday, Saturday, right? You do, or Thursday, Friday, whatever it may be. You do that because some teams are going to throw their ace the first game, and some teams are going to throw their ace the second game. And I'd be very interested because then it adds a little dimension of gamesmanship to what, and that's what you have to do in the playoffs anyway. That's what you have to do in the tournament. I mean, you look back at what South Range did. Jake Gehring was the guy that won the game to get them to the championship, and they had Sam Young, who ended up winning the championship games for them. So it's one of those things. You got to get to the championship game before you can win it. And then there's other people that say, well, we're going to save our best for that particular game. And sometimes they don't get there. So I would love it. I absolutely would love it. I'd love to see across the board.
I definitely think it'd be exciting. I mean, I definitely think schools and the districts would be into that, because then a conference championship becomes more of a bragging right than it even is now.
It just adds.
It looks like we have some clarification here.
Yeah, except I don't know who the hell Margie is.
Well,
she's your sister. You just don't realize it yet.
Well, she's coming home.
I have a sister named Jen. My sister named Jennifer. Like, it's not even close to Margie. I'm going on a mission trip to Turkey. We meet up with whatever that is and bring home our sister.
We've all been there,
We've all been there.
We've all been there.
We've all gone on mission trips to Turkey on ransom missions. Like your who's the dude from Taken? Oh, I can't remember his name.
Oh my god. Oh, why are we?
Never
how
saw
are
it,
we
so I
like?
don't
How
know.
are we?
Liam Neeson?
Yes. My goodness.
I have a
Liam
very
Neeson.
specific set of skills. All right.
I am not proud that just happened. That none of us could name Liam Neeson for like 10 seconds.
Bad.
That is
Very
not
bad.
good.
That is not a highlight moment of the show. I will tell you that right now. It is time for the most electrifying portion of today's broadcast. CJ's favorite. He's the MVP. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, the Joe Dickey Electric, What's Your Spark? It is the Joe Dickey Electric, What's Your Spark, presented by our friends over at Joe Dickey Electric in North Lima, Ohio, or you can visit them on the web at DickeyElectric.com. Joe Dickey Electric, proudly powering the Mahoning Valley for over 60 years. All right, so here's the rules, Mr. Fitch. You can put somebody on a pedestal or something or anything on a pedestal, or you can put them on a chopping block. And you can just chop away to your heart's content. CJ is an MVP at this. So, CJ, you can go first.
So I got 2 positive, and then one's not really either. But the positive is we had bullpens over the weekend. We are 4 weeks away on the dot from spring sports becoming mandatory, and I am so pumped. Everyone loves basketball or this time of the year for the basketball playoffs. I love this time of the year because basketball's almost over. So that's just me. But the other one I wanted to mention was, and we talked about it earlier in the show a little bit, was the Pro Bowl. And the Pro Bowl, obviously, yesterday was a waste of time. If you spent any more than 20 minutes watching it, you were wasting your time. But I am on the board of, listen, they have a reason for existing, right? All-star games have a reason for existing. It's not just to see, all the best players in one place, which for a lot of fans, that's what they want to see, right? They want to see all the all-star players in one place, in one setting, just, even just walking around, right? So, but I'm following this guy on Twitter, and he said all these all-star games are a total joke. And yeah, some of them are, but we got to understand there's a reason they exist, right? The MLB All-Star Game, there's a reason that exists. Sometimes that goes into a player being eligible for the Hall of Fame, right? That they bring it up all the time, right? He's a 15-time All-Star. He's a 2-time All-Star, right? So but that's just, I'll get off my pedestal, but they do have a reason to exist. All
right, Joshua Fitch.
Oh man,
it's all you, buddy.
All right, so this is on a national stage, but it was an eye-opening thing for me because it was the NASCAR Clash that took place yesterday. Now, I know very little about NASCAR, I'm not going to hide that, but I've learned a lot since, being in sports and stuff. And I thought it was really cool that they moved it from Daytona for the first time since the 70s, for the first time since its inception, took it to LA at the Coliseum, got Ice Cube there doing the halftime performance or in the intermediate performance. It was packed, didn't see a lot of empty seats out there. And I feel like in a sport like that, I feel like it's very tailored. I feel like people, and maybe I'm wrong, don't just sit down, throw it on, and are like, wow, fascinated. I feel like it's a very upbringing thing. At least that's how it was for me because we never watched it. And I'm like, okay, to me, it's only exciting when someone crashes. But they turned it into something that was more than the race. And they made it almost like a must-watch thing. And it was really cool. So, for my first time, I will brainstorm this for next time.
You're good.
Potentially put someone on the chopping block.
Uh-oh.
But that was an eye-opener for me because I was actually found myself looking over at it while it was on instead of just, okay, here's the highlights, we're going to cut it and do it. It was actually pretty interesting. And personally, I never thought I'd say that about NASCAR just because, like I mentioned, but it was pretty cool. So my nod goes to NASCAR.
NASCAR is one of those ones that you have to almost learn the rules first or just enjoy it for what it is, right?
Right.
So
I couldn't agree more.
I learned that very quickly. My boss, NASCAR fanatic, and if you're gonna move up in the world, you got to like what your boss likes. So I learned to love NASCAR. Went to a NASCAR race, and I'm not gonna say that I know a lot about it, but I enjoy it. I enjoy what it is, and there's some athletes in those cars, man. It takes a lot to do what they do. Most people think there's just left turn, another left turn. There's a lot more to just that. So, and they have some of the biggest pit crew people I've ever met in my life. Like just enormous people that were former athletes, basketball players, football players, because there's a giant fuel thing that somebody's got to manhandle and lock into your car. So just so you know, just a little FYI. Mine is had a little birthday on Saturday, little birthday, number 37. And it was awesome. What the? Sorry. There's DJ Folkley's owning the show today. I'm also going to fight to get the Quiznos back to Salem. There's no Quiznos anymore, man. They're gone. They're gone. But bring one back from Turkey and reestablish it in Salem, Ohio. Man, I love this show. I love the people that follow us. I really do. Had a birthday Saturday and just overwhelming support and just shout outs. But I have to say, out of all of the things that were really cool, outside of the stuff that happened in the four walls of the Yoakley Manor, after the game on Saturday, the Salem Carrollton game, I was shutting down, getting ready to pull the plug on our broadcast, and I see the entire Salem team come out to midcourt. And first of all, it was Nick Rome's birthday. We both share February 5th as a birthday. The Salem girls basketball team sang to both of us right there in the middle of the gym. It was embarrassing / like proud / it was so many different things running through. So I want to thank them publicly because I didn't get the chance to. So thought that was really cool. I was honored to do that. And I know there's a few people behind that. And I'm greatly appreciative of that because that just doesn't happen every day. So not to say that I'm better because I'm not than anybody. I just never thought in a million years that would happen. So that was really cool. And it goes a long way, and I'm greatly appreciative of it. So thank you.
That's awesome.
It was neat. Like I did not expect that at all. I saw them coming out, and I was like, "Oh, they're gonna sing to Nick. That's cool." Because one of the coolest things, and this will be a second spark, is Cammie Rome. We have nicknamed and dubbed SWATzilla for all the SWATs that she's had for the Salem basketball team. They made SWATzilla shirts in honor of Cammie for Nick's birthday on Saturday, which I thought was phenomenal.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because, I mean, listen, any daughter is a dad's just pride and joy. Not that sons aren't, but typically the sons get a little bit rougher treatment from dad than the daughters do. And you could tell how excited he was, and it was just so cool. So awesome weekend. Couldn't thank you enough. And hopefully everybody got to a chance to check out the YSU First Pitch Breakfast that we went live for on Saturday as well. Jason Kendall was there. Great speaker. Great speaker. And a great Pirate. I mean, has the same numbers, similar. I know because CJ's going to go look it up now. Similar to Yadier Molina. So when you think about that, that's pretty bananas. When Yadier's one of the greatest catchers of all time, and nobody even sniffs around at Jason Kendall as a Hall of Famer. So that's going to do it for our show. Josh, Fitch, thank you so much. We're every Monday. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
I love it. Bringing us closer together. 21 and YSN. I love it, man. Appreciate you. You know we love you. And CJ, we will see you tomorrow from Bear Country. That's going to do it for our show. Thanks for tuning in. As always, have a great rest of your day. And whatever you do, make sure you go do it safely. We'll see you tomorrow, 3 to 4, right here on YSN Power Hour. Peace. YSN thanks you for watching